Welcome and thank you all for joining us today. My name is Angelique Newhouse, and I am a search manager here at Watson Institute, along with my colleague, Milena Kirilova. She will be helping us with the session today. I'm incredibly thankful for the opportunity to work with such diverse social entrepreneurs around the world. Watson Institute is the place, the education, and the community where aspiring leaders and entrepreneurs can go to protect their courage, accelerate their careers, and lead lives of consequence. We are so grateful for our amazing community of alumni and that 3 Ford Philanthropy Mobility Fellowship alumni were willing to come and share their experiences and journeys with us. Alumni of Watson Institute's fellowships have raised over $185 million, created over 1,900 paid jobs, and impacted 10 million people around the world. 99% of Watson Institute alumni use a skill they learned while in a Watson Institute powered program up to 10 years later. Watson Institute programs will positively impact over 2,400 rising leaders this year. Today, I'll start by introducing our panelists. We will hear from them through a moderated Q&A, and then we'll open the floor for some questions. With that, I would like to introduce you to Brandon Williams, Isaac Mungali, and Cece Rockwell. Brandon is the founder of Youth Hub, where they are bridging the critical gap in high school education. Isaac is the founder of Career Kit, who is revolutionizing career development. Cece is the founder of Selfify, working hard to address the challenge of resource accessibility in underserved communities. Brandon, Isaac, and Cece were each recognized among many applicants as passionate and dedicated entrepreneurs. This year, the Ford Philanthropy Mobility Fellowship will exclusively welcome entrepreneurs working in the space of mobility, either increasing access to transportation or putting services on wheels. With that, Brandon, I would like to shine the spotlight on you first. Your impact in the changemaker space is evident, and we would all love to hear more about it. Can you please give us a deeper understanding of your venture, accomplishments, upcoming goals, and your passion behind it all?
Well, thank you for the warm introduction. I really appreciate it. And hello to everyone on the call and my fellow panelists. So when I started Youth Hub, it was birthed out of the idea of like, how can we provide access and training to children, regardless of the geographical location. And in Texas, by the year 2026, kids have to be certified workplace ready. And out of that love for making sure that I provide livable wage jobs for high school kids ranging from ages 14 to 21. That's how I came up with Youth Hub. I always want to be a servant and provide a service to others in the long run.
Brandon, what incredible work you do. Isaac, your embodiment of social impact is truly amazing. I'll ask you the same. Can you please give us a deeper understanding of your venture, accomplishments, upcoming goals, and your passion behind it all?
We primarily focus on career development, and we create career development products. Products are created to help individuals identify their core gifts and passions and abilities and actualize that. So bring it out into the world and find your niche and your position and your competitive advantage in the job market. So we help people find that through our resources. So we have here a game, oops, I'm disappearing. We have here a game that basically analyzes your personality as you play in the game and then gives you career recommendations. And in this game has impacted over 15,000 learners' lives here in South Africa. And we have been in all over, we're a national product now. We've won several awards, we've won several fellowships and fellow accelerated programs we've joined through this. We've raised grants funding. And yeah, it's been quite a journey. of just serving our community and just working towards helping them identify their core passions and actualize it.
Wow, that is remarkable, Isaac. Now I would like to illuminate Cece and her true empowerment of underserved communities. Cece, can you please also give us a deeper understanding of your venture, accomplishments, upcoming goals, and your passion behind it all?
Yes. So Sestify is an online platform where we're dedicated to bridging the gap between people in need and the resources that they need to become self-sufficient. So we're AI driven. So currently just in the United States, social issues are continuing to increase. And a lot of times it's hard for people to be able to find these resources that can help them with housing, food, or mobility. So I try to make that easier for them by allowing them to take an assessment that measures them, gives them a score, and then I'm instantly recommending them to organizations, while also allowing these same organizations that serve them to instantly connect with them and be able to serve them more quicker and faster. A lot of our nonprofit workers right now are burnt out because it is so hard. There is so much paperwork, so much bureaucracy that it takes to be able to help people. So I just want to make that easy. So yeah, that is what Sestify is about.
That is some inspiring work. I'd like to take a quick minute and ask everyone in the audience to put an emoji in the chat or show us a reaction of how you're feeling now. We will move on to the moderated Q&A. I will ask each panelist to answer each of the following questions. So let's start with you, Brandon. What inspired you to join Watson Institute?
What inspired me, such a great question. What inspired me was the access to the cohort members, not just the resources that we received, but knowing that I would be able to connect with individuals from all over the world, like having a chance to talk to Isaac offline and understand the great work that he's doing. I'm located here in Dallas, getting to understand more of what about what Cece has going on and potentially being an asset or assist her if possible. That's one of the main reason why I joined. I knew I was gaining access to a community.
That is so true. The community building built through the cohort is very inspiring. What about you, Isaac? What inspired you to join Watson Institute?
Yeah, so initially what inspired me to join, so I was looking to join an accelerator program and just be part of mentorship. I was looking for mentorship more specifically as I'd realized it's a very crucial portion of growing your venture and just getting to the next level, because when you get advice or constructive criticism from those that have come before you, you get to carve your path much more smarter and wisely. So I was looking for opportunities for that. But then secondly, what really then narrowed it down was the potential to win that venture development stipend. As I'd seen how it could benefit our organization. And then thirdly was the chance to just be associated with the Ford Philanthropy brand as a company. And that has been tremendous, that association with that organization. Yeah.
Yes, mentorship is a pillar of what we do here at Watson Institute. Not only do we have experts in their fields who teach the curriculum, but we also have mentorship within all of our team members. Thank you for sharing that. How about you, Cece? What inspired you to join Watson Institute?
I love learning. So I knew that, coming into the cohort, I would be able to learn a lot of, more information when it comes to owning a startup, especially in the social impact space. So I really wanted to take the opportunity to be able to learn from our mentors, to be able to learn from, the different instructors that we had come through, because there's so many different ways that you can tackle this work. Learning from, people across the globe was very helpful in understanding how I could be more innovative.
Oh, I love that innovation and learning. Beautiful. All right, let's go to question number 2. What specific resources or opportunities did you gain throughout or after the Ford Philanthropy Mobility Fellowship? Let's start with you, Brandon.
Um, for me, I had the opportunity to travel to these social innovation summits. Um, and when I tell you it was in Chicago, and when I tell you it was a life-changing experience to have access to and have direct conversations with funders, like large funders, like the person that's over Amazon nonprofits, the person that's over Walmart.org, the person that's over Comcast philanthropic department, having these direct conversations and understanding how and what they fund it was life changing. I will always attend that conference moving forward. That was one of the biggest opportunities I have outside of sitting on this panel right now. Uh, that and it was a whole bunch of different tools. The second thing I would say, the feedback I received regarding my venture, the feedback I received it was amazing. Like I immediately implemented that information and completely turned around my venture.
Wow, that is absolutely incredible. And I'm so excited to hear of those opportunities that you've gained. How about you, Isaac? What resources or opportunities did you gain throughout or after the fellowship?
Yeah, so the first resource opportunity I gained was the venture development stipend. I was one of the people selected for that, and that has helped tremendously, as one of our goals was to expand our product range, and that seed capital was going to really help us in doing that. And I can firmly say that those funds were put to use because we got our next set of products here. So this here is a electrical engineering kit. So we realize kits once the game tells you, the first game tells you what career path you're meant to do. And then we create kits for different career paths. So that funding was really instrumental in helping us develop our next line of products. So that was the hugest up, and that has been skyrocketing since then because now we're no longer just a one product company. We're a resource center. Yeah.
Amazing. Oh, I love to see the way that you're growing. Cece, can you share with us any specific resources or opportunities you gained throughout the fellowship or after?
So just being able to attach Justify to the Ford Philanthropy brand has been really helpful in establishing partnerships. For my event that you're required to throw, I was able to do a community fair and partner with a lot of big companies here in Dallas, and it also led to additional community fairs with some community colleges here and stuff like that. So I just really like being challenged to host something when I didn't think I was ready, allowed me to actually take that step forward and gain the partnerships that I needed to be able to grow the company.
Wow, that's incredible. I am feeling very inspired today, and I hope that you all are too. Let's go to question number 3. Do you have an exciting story or moment during the Ford Philanthropy Mobility Fellowship journey at Watson Institute that you would like to share with us? Now, you might have to think on that a little bit. Let's start with you, Brandon.
Well, I don't have to think too hard. During the during the course of our cohort, they kept telling me, Teal kept telling me I give off main character energy. Um, and I was during some of the time or some of the cohorts, the reality is we're not going to be able to attend all the classes. And I do science programs for kids. And I was able to show the cohort, like I was in class and doing a large STEM fair at the same time. And I was able to show my cohort, the cohort I was in, what I actually do for a living. And I think that the title giving off main character energy has stuck with me ever since.
That is so cool. I love that. How about you, Isaac? An exciting story or a moment that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, so the moments I'd like to share is just maybe to go into like some of the workshops we do. There was one way we had to write a letter to our future self once we've completed and gone through the entire program and all of that. Then you're only allowed, so you basically set up like an email to be delivered to you after 3 months, and then it'll pop back and then show you now where you were in that moment and what your plans were and what your goals were and how far you've come. So you're basically meant to write it as if you've achieved whatever you wanted to achieve. And you do that exercise and you send that out to yourself. And I did both a physical letter and an email. And I'm like really, really happy I did that, because it was like me speaking life into myself. And yeah, that was just such a powerful moment. We get a lot of nuggets and of wisdom from the different workshops we do. So they're very transformative in how they're structured. And then you get a lot of wisdom from that. There's a mixture of business and philosophy, and it's really played out quite well. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I love that you shared that, because there are a lot of powerful and inspirational moments throughout the fellowship beyond what you can learn. How about you, Cece? An exciting story you'd like to share with us?
I would just say, I'm not really an exciting person, but I would say like just the individual conversations that I was able to have with some of the cohort members, and like the relationships that I was able to build, and just being able to connect and have somebody that can empathize with some of the stuff that, you know, you go through as a founder or, you know, a CEO, was probably some of the most exciting moments for me.
Yeah, I think that that's really important too, though, the connections. That's definitely a part of the journey. So thank you. Okay, so our final moderated Q&A. What advice do you have for our potential applicants considering applying for the 2025 Ford Philanthropy Mobility Fellowship? We'll go back to you, Brandon.
I would advise, the advice I would give is to, one, apply. Don't overthink your venture. You're never going to have everything you need to execute the way that you want to execute. But the biggest thing is you're taking the steps to start, and because you're going to have ups and downs along the way. And what the purpose of the cohort is to help you iron out some of those bumps. And if you really utilize it for what it was meant for, it'll help ease that journey along the way.
Oh, what good advice. How about you, Isaac? What advice might you have?
Okay, so the advice I have is for those who are like already seeing themselves in the program. So if you're already in the program, really, really read the guidelines, the T's and C's about what they're measuring for success, because it's not that you're a successful business that you win well, if you're looking at it as a competition, or if you're trying to win that venture stipend, they are terms and C's, and just hit it hard. Like every single thing they want you to do, just do it and you will succeed.
Yeah, that's great. I think just showing up, being present, interacting with the cohort, utilizing the mentors that you're given. Those are all ways that you can align yourself as one of those select fellows. Very good advice. How about you, Cece?
I would say if it's still a thing, if you're doing the event, like kind of just touching on what Isaac said, I would get started early as soon as possible. I wouldn't wait and to be told to do it, or when you're actually told to start planning. I would start planning from the very, very beginning, instead of that small chunk of window of planning.
Oh, excellent advice. She's referring to a key deliverable of the fellowship known as our base camp. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about that, you can check it out on our website. Great advice and so inspiring.
I would
Thank
like to
you
piggyback on what
all.
something Cece said, because in all transparency, I completely dropped the ball with that event. I'm, have so much going on that I completely dropped the ball. I missed the mark, like, completely, because I didn't take the proper steps to plan accordingly. Um, and that's one of my biggest regrets, is that I didn't plan that piece of the cohort out as thoroughly as I should have. So, like Cece says, when you receive, if you join, when you join and you receive that packet, and like Isaac said, read the lot, read every detail, and make sure you're hitting those marks.
Yeah, thank you. That is very important advice and very valuable. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, I am going to share our screen again here. And we're going to talk about the application itself, the process and the timeline quickly before we move to our open question and answer. So really the choice is now yours and interviews have officially opened. So if you're moved by what you heard here today and you're also in the world of increasing access to transportation or putting services on wheels, here is how it works. Complete the online application, which takes roughly 45 minutes. When doing that, be descriptive. Share your journey and inspirations with us. You being here today, you get some extra tips. I've never seen an application and said, wow, that's too long. That's just too much information. So please, we want to hear your journeys and your inspirations and what you're passionate about, why you're in the world of mobility or transportation. After the application, we review those, and the strongest, most aligned applicants will be invited to a 20-minute interview. We then will review those applicants as a committee and send to Ford Philanthropy for a final review. Then you'll receive notifications of decisions. Notifications are being sent in batches this year, so you will receive notification depending on when you apply. And the program itself will officially begin February 24th, 2025. Now we will move to our open question and answer. I'm going to invite Milena, my colleague here, to read any questions that we may have in the chat. So please feel free if you do have any questions for me, for Milena, Watson Institute in general, or any of our alumni here with us today. Please put those in the chat or feel free to unmute if you're comfortable just kind of asking questions. We want to hear that from you. This is a unique opportunity to chat with us and alumni of the Ford Philanthropy Mobility Fellowship. Milena?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you all for sharing. It's been really inspiring to listen to all of your stories. We currently don't have any questions, so everyone, please feel free to put something in the chat if you want to learn more about any specific element of our alumni's stories. It's a chance to do so. You can also drop any questions about the application process or anything about Watson Institute. It's a great opportunity to really engage with everyone here and maybe even share your story.
Yes, thank you. Fernando, do you have something you'd like to add or a question?
Yes, first of all, thank you so much for this session. My name is Fernando Caña. I'm a founder from Mexico City. We're building the world's most affordable and sustainable EV subscription service for gig drivers. I've already had my interview, thank you for that, late last week. And I was wondering if if I would get notice from potential acceptance by February 12th. Is that what I read on the previous slide?
Yes, so that would be our final batch. You have fallen into batch 1, so you should hear from us no later than the 3rd week of December.
Oh, that's
very
great.
excited that you have applied and had your interview. Very exciting. Thank you.
Thank you, Angelique. Thank you.
Angelique, we have another question in the chat from Kennedy. And Kennedy asks what Watson Institute sees as an impact and what is the core need we have from fellows, from participants of the fellowship.
So Watson Institute serves as a place to support social entrepreneurs around the globe. But when we think about the 2025 Ford Philanthropy Mobility Fellowship specifically, we're thinking about transportation and mobility. We're thinking about, as Fernando mentioned, electronic vehicles. We are thinking about those who are bringing services to individuals with lack of access to transportation, right? So putting services on wheels, creating access to transportation, changing the infrastructure of transportation. Those are the type of things that we're looking for, and implementing those in highly marginalized or underserved communities. I hope that helps to answer your question. Any other questions in the chat, Milena?
Yes, we have a question from Calvin, and he wanted to know, I guess, how Watson Institute defines mobility. And Calvin can correct me if I misunderstood your question. But let's talk about how Watson Institute and Ford Philanthropy define mobility and what is really mobility and transportation when it comes to entrepreneurship.
Okay. I think I kind of answered that question a little bit in the last answer. We know that mobility and transportation can be very broad definitions. So ride sharing, ride hailing, there are lots of different things that can be included in the definition of transportation and mobility. Even individuals who are looking to, maybe you have a social impact venture now and incorporating, putting these services on wheels and bringing those to highly marginalized communities throughout the course of the fellowship, if that's something that you would like to do. Uh, we also accept those applicants as well. Milena, is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
No, I totally agree with everything you shared in your definition. We do have another question about the format of the fellowship. I already mentioned it's fully virtual, but Angelique, if you want to add any details on how the fellowship, works, time commitment, any additional elements, I think that would be really helpful.
Sure. So once final acceptances are sent, the admitted fellows will be sent an invitation for a Meet the Cohort event. This is a virtual event that allows all of the fellows an opportunity to meet one another and meet the amazing program implementation team that we have at Watson Institute that will help you throughout your journey with the fellowship. After that, we have a 2-week immersive. We call this an immersive. And it really is just a deep dive into the program itself, setting you up with tools and resources to be successful. And it includes the beginning of our programming. The next, sorry, let's add in. I just want to make note, those first 2 weeks are roughly 10 to 15 hours per week. The remainder of the 14 weeks, there are sessions on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. All of these dates and details can be found on our website. The rough weekly commitment there is 6 to 8 hours per week. Again, all virtual programming. Programming is led by preceptors. Those are experts in their fields that are delivering the curriculum. Then, as I mentioned, our program implementation team is facilitating the fellowship as well, and they do really incredible sessions, just like what Isaac mentioned, that letter to our future self. We really try to look at the cohort that we have built as a whole and their needs and their wants and their interest areas and incorporate that into the fellowship as much as we can. Quickly, I'll just note that we also have the key deliverable of the fellowship known as a base camp, which is a 1 to 3 day event that we ask every fellow to host in their respective communities. This is a way, why, Angelique? Why do we host these base camps? This is how we create a ripple effect of impact across the globe. But this is also an opportunity for you to build your leadership skills and really create some change there in your community. Next, we have the Summit event, which is a celebratory event. We recognize and celebrate every single fellow at this event. Select fellows also have an opportunity to present their venture at Summit. We have a recent summit that we held had almost 700 participants in attendance. This is a high-profile event that's global. So that's a bit about the fellowship itself and what that time commitment looks like.
Thank you, Angelique, for sharing. We have another question. Would a company that supplies service to the transport industry apply for this initiative?
Absolutely. I say a great starting point would be to review the criteria, the dates, the details, the mission of our fellowship online. You will also find some frequently asked questions on there. And one of those is, who are you? Who is a fellow? What do they do? All of those types of things. And that will really help you to understand who we are looking for in the Ford Philanthropy Mobility Fellowship. But delivering supplies, that could absolutely be something that's considered for the fellowship.
Thank you, Angelique, for answering this question. And are there any networking events during the program or post the program?
You know, I think all three of our alumni mentioned this today, connecting with the cohort as a whole. So we mentioned the Watson Institute team. We are all over. We're a remote team all over the world. Then we have our preceptors, experts in their fields, who are all over the world. And then we have a cohort of individuals, of like-minded individuals to connect with as well. So networking, I would say, happens every single day during your journey at Watson Institute. What do you all have to say, alumni? Brandon, you were shaking your head. Yes. What do you think about networking at Watson Institute?
The networking that some of the important networking that you would have when you can who's ever running or that's over, our person was Teal, right? So she identified who's strong in what, their strengths and weaknesses, and she will have a side call or Zoom call with you. And one of the people she connected me with was Isaac. We talked at length. I talked about my venture. He talked about his. It's really cool. You also check out both of their ventures. It's really amazing. But having side conversations like that, it's more intimate, and it's not 30, 40 people on the call and everybody's chiming in. You can have intentional time one-on-one when you join the cohort and you open up about how you want to grow as a person, how you want to grow your venture, and how you want the program to help you.
Wow, that's incredible. I certainly could not have explained it that way myself, but thank you. I hope that answers your question.
And
Melina,
be
did you
nice
have
to
any other
be
questions?
nice
Oh,
be nice to the interviewer, because it just clicked in my head that Melina interviewed me. She interviewed me, and it was a great interview. So be nice to your interviewer.
I
Great.
second that. Be nice to your interviewer.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you, Brandon. The next question we have is a bit more specific. Does my startup have to be registered, or can I apply with an idea?
Okay, that's an excellent question. Social entrepreneurs who apply to Watson Institute Impact Fellowships are of various stages. For the 2025 Ford Philanthropy Mobility Fellowship, we are looking for what we call the missing middle. So entrepreneurs who are looking to achieve product market fit and scale their ventures. Now, I will say, there's lots of different criteria that you're going to hear. You're going to hear mobility, transportation, product market fit, scale, geographic location, all of these different things. We don't always have applicants who meet every single piece of this criteria. But one thing that's really important to us, specifically as the admissions team, is to review all applicants regardless of the criteria and identify those who are maybe too early stage, maybe too advanced, maybe from a specific geographic region, and always notify you of different opportunities that we may know of with our partners, or identify those applicants who may be eligible for another fellowship or even this fellowship at a future time.
So in other words, while your business does not have to be registered or have any specific legal structure, you do have to have a active business that is running, or you want to officially register at one point soon, and you should have a demonstrated impact, some impact metrics, any sort of result that you've been able to create. It usually looks like a business that's been operating for a couple of years and a business that is looking to grow. So the idea stage would be a bit too early for this specific fellowship.
Thank you. Any other
And
questions?
for now, we don't have any more questions.
No? Okay. I would like to ask one more question of our alumni panelists. You are all busy entrepreneurs. And not just that, you have your personal lives, your social lives. How did you manage this continued learning and this whole experience and growing? How do you manage that time with everything else that you have going on in your life? Brandon, we'll start with you.
You make time for the things you want to make time for. And if you sign up, you're signing up with a clear purpose that you're trying to elevate your venture. So you carve out that hour or two that you need to make sure that you're successful in the program. And you all do a great job of giving us a calendar of when these things are going to happen. That it's, unless it's an act of God, it's kind of hard to miss stuff unless you got a major program. I've had several major programs where I was literally in class, and it's like 600 kids behind me running around. I had my camera off and my AirPods in, but you have to make those sacrifices from time to time. And you're going to miss some classes, but try your best to be present and communicate when you're going to miss. I can't stress that enough. Because that's your saving grace. You'll be disqualified a lot just because you miss 3 days.
Yeah. Thank you. That's very important and very true. Cece, what do you think? How did you manage the time?
Just echoing kind of what Brandon said. You make things, you make the time that you want to, that you want to make time for. So for me, I was working full time. I think I was also in another cohort at the same time, but I still made sure to carve out, those 2 hours to make sure that I could make it. I'm also a project manager myself, so like time management isn't that hard for me. And luckily, I have a supportive job where they know exactly what I do, and I get a limited PTO, so they allow me to take off that time to be able to make these moves. So I think like having a schedule, I mean, during that time, because I'm not gonna sit up here and make it seem like I was perfect during that time. I was losing my mind. I had to sit down and do a to-do list every single day. I had to make sure at the end of the day that I went through that to-do list again, and checked in, occasionally, because I was still building my software and stuff like that. So it's really about just, figuring a system out that works for you during this time, because it can be demanding, but realizing that it is worth it at the end of the day. So just, however you run your regular life, make sure you just incorporate this into your regular life and take it just as serious.
Yeah, I love that tip. Thank you. Isaac, what about you?
Yeah, so for me, I came in at it with a different mentality. My idea was to win that money. I was like, look, I'm coming to win this money, and what do I need to do to win this money? And then I looked at it like this, right? if all I have to do is attend a few workshops and do a few presentations and just be present to make that money, I looked at the return on investment on that, and I was like, that's an exponential return for just being present and then just going through the different requirements. And then I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And then I just basically cut myself from the alternatives. I was like, any other work will not give me this return. So, well, at that time, any other work will not give me this return in terms of if I put this focus on a daily basis, it's an hour a day or 2 hours a day, sometimes 3 hours a day. If I put this focus in, that return I'll get from both just the learning point of view, from the development point of view, from the network point of view, is exponential from my point of view. So I was like, then I need to put in the work. So then it's a matter of focus. And then my definition of focus is a decision you make, and decisions to me is you cutting yourself from the alternatives. So you just have this path. And then once I decided that the path is to win and this is the criteria for winning, I submitted to it.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Wow, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. The venture development stipend is absolutely an added bonus to the fellowship, and I think it's very important was what Isaac said there too, to identify what is important to you. What is the most valuable thing that you feel like you're going to get out of this program? Is it the mentorship, the community building, the networking, the curriculum itself? What is your return on investment? And really focus in on that. And incorporate it into your daily life. Make sure that you can show up. So that's amazing. Excellent advice. I want to thank you all. Thank you to our 2024 Ford Philanthropy alumni. You all are amazing. Your journeys and your stories are incredible. The momentum that you have gained is truly inspiring. So thank you for sharing that with us today. Thank you to all of our participants for joining. I hope that you all choose to apply and just join the Watson Institute Network in some way. So it looks like we are okay to wrap up just a little bit early here. I'm going to share my screen one more time with the QR code. Oh, we don't have the QR code on this one. That's okay. We have our website listed here. Milena put the website in the chat as well. If you would like to apply, the priority deadline is January 12th. So thank you all very much. We are also going to send this recording out to those who were unable to participate today, and it will be up on our YouTube channel as well. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, our panelists. It was
Thank you all so
incredible.
much for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Hey, everyone.
Thank you.